Okay, this is our second lesson in English, chapter 15. So, I would like you to have your English book out in front of you, open to page 271, and have something to write with because we're going to be completing a lot of this lesson together. So, yesterday we did a review of prepositions and you found prepositions. Today, we are going to be locating prepositional phrases, and then we're going to be finding the subjects and the verbs of the sentence. Remembering that once we cross out or put parentheses around the prepositional phrases, then we don't look at them anymore when we're looking for the subject and verb. We can ignore those phrases. So that makes it easier to locate the subject and the verb. We're going to go to our teaching PowerPoint for today. Lesson 142 is prepositional phrases. Review. The object of a preposition is the noun or pronoun that follows the preposition in a sentence. The dog is on the blanket. Okay? Blanket is the object of a preposition. Object of the preposition on. To find the object of the preposition, say the preposition and then ask the question what or whom. Example, the boat is in the harbor. In what? In the harbor. So the object of the preposition is harbor. A prepositional phrase begins with a preposition, ends with the object of the preposition, and includes all the words between them. The people in the crowd held signs in the air. We've got in the crowd, in the air. In is the preposition, crowd would be the object of the preposition, and the is the adjective describing crowd. In is the preposition, air is the object of the preposition, and the describes air. All three words are included in the prepositional phrase. The simple subject and verb are never located in prepositional phrases. As we said, once we find the prepositional phrase, we can eliminate it as a place to look for a subject and a verb. Example, the puppy rolled in the grass. In the grass is the prepositional phrase, so we're just going to completely ignore that now, and we're going to look at the words we have left. The puppy rolled. The subject of the sentence is who or what the sentence is about. Who is this sentence about? It's about a puppy. The verb tells what the subject is doing. Puppy is doing what? Rolling. Puppy rolled. That's how you find the subject and verb. A comma follows each long introductory prepositional phrase of 5 or more words. I mentioned this yesterday in the lesson. The introduction may contain more than one prepositional phrase. Example, after Jesus died on the cross, comma, he rose again on the third day. So we have two prepositional phrases put together after Jesus died on the cross. So this is an introductory phrase with a comma. So we're not going to find the subject in that phrase. The subject will be he, the verb rose. All right, guided practice on page 271. The directions say, put parentheses around each prepositional phrase, underline the simple subject once and the verb twice. Insert any missing commas. And page 355 in your grammar book has a list of common prepositions. I also attached the same list I attached yesterday so that you can print it out if you need it to help you find prepositions. We have a lot of things to do in each sentence. So the first task is to locate all of the prepositional phrases. The ancient Greeks built beautiful temples for the gods on the Acropolis in Athens. So the first thing we need to do is we need to put parentheses around the prepositional phrases. For the gods, on the Acropolis, in Athens. Now the great thing about finding all these prepositional phrases is now we can ignore them when we go to look for the subject and verb. Here's the words that are left. The ancient Greeks built beautiful temples. That's only words we have to focus on. Now the subject is who or what the sentence is about. Who is this sentence about? This sentence is about Greeks. Now, the and ancient are adjectives describing Greeks, but the simple subject is Greeks. Now, verbs can be either action or linking. In this sentence, we're going to look for an action verb. What action are the Greeks doing? And hopefully you see it. Greeks built. Okay, so that is how we're going to do each of these sentences. Number 2, the Parthenon was built in honor of the goddess Athena. First of all, we locate the prepositional phrases. In honor of the goddess Athena. So when we go to locate the subject and verb, now look, we only have 4 words left to work with. So much easier. The Parthenon was built. First, we're looking for the subject, who or what the sentence is about. This sentence is about Parthenon. Now we're looking for the verb. And I want to remind you that sometimes the verb is more than one word. When it is, it's called a verb phrase. It has the main verb and any helping verbs. We learned about these and we memorized the charts before we went off on distance learning. So hopefully it's somewhere in the back of your brain somewhere, hopefully. So this is a verb phrase. The Parthenon was built. Was is acting as the helping verb. Built is the main verb. Okay. Number 3. It sits high above the city. One prepositional phrase, above the city, and now we only have 3 words to work with for the subject and verb. It sits high. We look for the subject, and then another reminder to you. Pronouns can act as the subject. And in this sentence, that's what happens. It is the subject. And what is it doing? It sits. Okay? When you say the subject and verb together, they need to make sense together. It sits. Make sense together. If you thought the verb was high and then you say it high, that doesn't make any sense. The subject and verb have to go together and make sense when you combine them. Number 4, it was built between 447 and 432 BC. So first we get rid of our prepositional phrase between 447 and 432 BC. Now we only have 3 words to work with. It was built. Looks similar to the sentence in number 3. The subject is a pronoun it. The verb is the verb phrase was built. Again, was is acting as the helping verb. Built is the main verb. It makes sense when you put it together. It was built. Number 5, today the Parthenon is famous for its magnificent columns. Okay, let's get rid of the prepositional phrase, for its magnificent columns. Now, what we have left is, today the Parthenon is famous. Now, when we're looking for the subject, we're looking for what the sentence is about. You might be tempted to say, Mrs. Harshaw, the subject is today. But if you look carefully at this sentence, is this sentence about today? No, this sentence is about the Parthenon. Today is an adverb answering the question when. That can be a little bit tricky, but look at the rest of the sentence. Is famous for its magnificent columns. Today does not have magnificent columns. The Parthenon has magnificent columns. Okay, and the verb is actually a linking verb. Remember our linking verbs? Hopefully you're saying, yes, Mrs. Harshaw, I remember our linking verbs. Am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. Hopefully that's in your head. Anyway, is a linking verb. And here's a little extra for you. Famous comes after the linking verb and describes the Parthenon. So famous is a predicate adjective. I can put it in front of Parthenon and it makes sense. Famous Parthenon. Hopefully all this sounds familiar because we did a lot of this earlier in the year. Number 6, it is also famous for the marble statues and carvings inside the temple. Get rid of our prepositional phrases first. For the marble statues and carvings inside the temple. So we have left, it is also famous. Subject is it. Now we look for the verb. Oh, remember what I just said for number 5, the linking verbs. Am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. Aha, is a linking verb. Now, just like in the last sentence, it is famous. Famous is a predicate adjective describing it. Also is an adverb. Those sneaky little adverbs are all over the sentences, but also would not be a subject or a verb. So it's pretty easy to find it is. Number 7. At different times through the years, the city of Athens was conquered by other countries. Ooh, lots of prepositional phrases. At different times throughout the years. And then the comma goes after years because this is a long prepositional phrase that begins the sentence. By other countries of Athens. We have so many prepositional phrases. There's only a couple words left that we are using for the subject and verb. The city was conquered. That's all we have left. The subject is city, and then the verb is actually a verb phrase, was conquered. Was is acting as the helping verb, conquered is the main verb. City was conquered. See how it makes sense together when it's the subject and the verb. All right, number 8. The temple served many purposes depending on the rulers of the city. On the rulers of the city. Okay, look up at what we have left. The temple served many purposes depending. So, what is the sentence about? This sentence is about the temple. What action is the temple doing? It's serving. The temple served. Very good. Number 9, at one time it was used for a Catholic church. Prepositional phrases, at one time for a Catholic church. So all we have left to work with is it was used. Subject it. Verb phrase was used. Was is the helping verb, used is the main verb. Number 10, during the Turkish invasion of Athens, it became a Muslim mosque. During the Turkish invasion and of Athens are the two prepositional phrases. There's a comma after Athens because remember, if it's more than 5 words in the introduction phrase and there's prepositional phrases, you use a comma. So during the Turkish invasion of Athens, comma, it became a Muslim mosque. So the subject is it. The verb became. Okay. All right, now you're going to go to page 272. Page numbers are tiny. And we're going to do part of the independent practice together up to number 5. And then you're going to put number 6 through 17 into today's LMS quiz to show me that you understand what we're doing. Okay? So let's look at number 1. The Parthenon is surrounded by columns. Find the prepositional phrase. By columns. Find the subject. The sentence is about the Parthenon. Find the verb. In this case, it's a verb phrase. Is surrounded. Is the helping verb. Surrounded is the main verb. Number 2. The Doric style of column was used on the Parthenon. Find the prepositional phrases first. Of column on the Parthenon. So we have the Doric style was used. The subject of the sentence is style. The and Doric describe style, but the simple subject is style. The verb was used. When we say them together, they make sense. Style was used. Number 3, the entire building is made of marble. Prepositional phrase, of marble. The entire building is made is what we have left. What is this sentence about? It's about a building. Remember, subjects are nouns or pronouns. A noun is person, place, or thing. You're always looking for a person, place, or thing or idea for the subject. Building, and then the verb phrase is made. Is the helping verb, made is the main verb. Number 4, the marble was taken from a mountain near Athens. Prepositional phrases, from a mountain near Athens. Subject, what is this sentence about? Marble. The action, marble was taken. Was is the helping verb, taken is the main verb. Number 5, after more than 2,500 years, the Parthenon has been mostly destroyed. We've got a prepositional phrase, 5 words, beginning of the sentence, so we use a comma, separate it from the rest of the sentence. The subject of this sentence, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? The Parthenon. Now, for this verb phrase, we have one of those pesky adverbs. Adverbs can be found everywhere, and adverbs can be very confusing because they like to butt right into the middle of the verb phrase, and it's doing that here. Has been mostly destroyed. So mostly is the adverb. Mostly is not a verb. It is not an action. You cannot mostly, okay? The verb phrase is has been destroyed. You will see that this verb phrase has 3 words. Verb phrases can have 1 word, 2 words, 3 words. It can be long. Has been are the helping verbs. Destroyed is the main verb. And mostly is an adverb. It is not part of the verb phrase. It just butts in there. Adverbs like to sneak in where they're not supposed to be and try to confuse the poor, innocent little 5th grade English student. So ignore that pesky adverb, please. Now, here's what you are going to do. Here is your assignment. You're going to complete the rest of page 272. You can either do it in your book first and then put the answers in the LMS, or if you want to go right to LMS, that's fine too. You're going to put the answers for the rest of the page into the LMS quiz. Now, for 13 through 17, apply and write, you're also doing that. The directions say, put in a prepositional phrase that makes sense. So, for number 13, just give you an example. I eat peanut butter. Your direction is, rewrite that sentence with a prepositional phrase. So, that's what I did. I eat peanut butter on crackers. So on crackers is my prepositional phrase that I added to the sentence. So in the LMS, you will give me that sentence with a prepositional phrase. Remember, it can come at the beginning, in the middle, or at the end. It doesn't matter, as long as you put in an actual prepositional phrase. The prepositional phrase chart is attached again, as well as the PDF of this lesson to help you. And I will see you for our next English lesson.